Nation of Fit in 10, welcome to day 49. We are officially into we're just rounding out the end of week 7, heading into week 8, the final 3 weeks. And a reminder to you, you can still make some really good change in this last 30% of the challenge. Basically 1/3 of the challenge to go. Remember, we will not run your scan until after the challenge is done. So we're gonna basically keep sprinting past the finish line, right? I just actually reminded myself something I want to talk about today. Another example this morning, by the way, I ran a late scan this morning, and another example, and I'm not talking about a massive person by any means, okay? I'm not talking about somebody who's 6'2" or 4 and 280 pounds. I'm talking about a 150-pound female, essentially. This person's weight has basically stayed the same through the challenge. Okay, it's gone down a couple pounds, but nothing drastic. But the fat loss has been 10 pounds. All right, so the body composition has changed a lot. The lean mass has obviously gone up. There's obviously been some fluid redistribution in the body. Some of that in the muscle, obviously. The muscle mass is not all muscle tissue. But the point is that things are going in the right direction. We see that muscle mass going up. More hydrated muscle is more conducive to fat loss, more conducive to muscle building. And we see obviously that fat mass going down. And so this is why we can see a huge difference in body composition. We can see a change in the mirror, we can see a change in the clothing, but we don't see that reflection on the scale per se. All right, so another really strong example that I don't have, I gave the scan away, but you know what? I'll post it in Slack maybe. Or maybe I'll print it off again. All right, let's talk about ways to help you feel fuller, because I didn't get through all my points yesterday. So ways to help you stay more satiated as you're getting hungry, especially towards the end of the challenge. Number 6, I mentioned, this is very specific, but as a carbohydrate source, eating boiled or baked potato. Boiled or baked potato is very, very satiating. Number 7, protein and fiber together at every meal. Okay, this is a double whammy. Think about eating protein and fiber at every meal. I could add in fat as well, because fat's satiating. But the only problem with fat is you don't get a lot of it, and it is very calorie dense. It's calorie dense, but it is satiating. So probably I didn't put it in there because you just don't get a lot of it. But in terms of fiber and protein, again, these are going to be lower calorie, especially fiber, especially if it's insoluble, because insoluble is just going right through you essentially. So it's almost like free food. Okay, the fiber, again, it's going to help slow down blood sugar levels as well. I didn't say that correctly. It's going to help modulate the influx of sugar into the bloodstream. It's going to slow it down. So protein, fiber, there's a lot of volume there. Number 8, adequate sleep. So generally speaking, now I will tell you, I don't have this. This has never happened to me. Usually it's the opposite for me, but from everything I've read and seen with majority of people, people tend to be hungrier when they don't get adequate amount of sleep. I don't get this, to be honest with you, but why don't you tell me, okay? Adequate sleep is supposed to lower ghrelin and increase leptin. Ghrelin is a hunger hormone. It is the hormone responsible for making us feel hungry. And leptin is the hormone that's responsible for making us feel full. So with adequate sleep, we're supposed to get lower ghrelin and higher leptin production. Number 9, go to bed early, okay? Your cravings will be highest at night. When you're tired, when you're craving the serotonin to be higher, when you want to relax, this is when you're going to crave something sweet or perhaps savory, something that you shouldn't eat, really. Savory doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad, nor does sweet, but typically this is when we're going to fall off the wagon. Morning time is not the time where you fall off the wagon, typically. So go to bed early, okay? And this will fall right in line with getting adequate amount of sleep, enough sleep, hopefully quality sleep. Number 10, stress less, okay? Now this might be easier said than done, but often stress is just a state of mind. Not always, But often we stress about things that, we really shouldn't. There's a saying, or there's a statement that I've been recently seeing going around saying that 85, I've seen 90% of everything that we worry about never happens. So, you have to ask yourself, what do you have control over and what do you don't? And if you don't, just let it be and try to let it go. All right. So stress less. With this, we get both a reduction in cortisol, and as a result, we get higher serotonin. Cortisol is what we call the stress hormone. It is designed to essentially raise our blood sugar levels. But cortisol also, the hormone cortisol, it competes with the same underlying ingredients that serotonin competes for. And serotonin is this one that helps us feel relaxed. Okay, so we want to keep stress down. This will keep cortisol down. This will allow serotonin to stay higher, okay? All right, let's get to the message of the day here. On this day 49. All right, now generally, I will tell you that 99% of the time, okay, there's always outliers in both ways, but 99% of the time, results speak for themselves. Things don't happen by accident. So the question is if you don't see what you should expect or what you expect to see, we have to ask why, right? And this is one reason out of many reasons why we log our food on a daily basis and why we want an accurate reflection of what we're eating, and also why we want to schedule our workouts. Right? We want to make sure that they happen on a regular basis. We want a consistency, right? We want a level of consistency, right? It's not about what we do infrequently. It's about what we do frequently. It's about what we do 95% of the time. All right? Results speak for themselves. And also remember to go along with this. Everything's a process, so we can't expect to go from here to here. Maybe some people can. It's a very individual thing, but this whole thing is a process in and of itself. But ultimately, remember this: results speak for themselves. If there's an issue, if there's a problem, we just have to figure out what the problem is and then rectify it and go from there. And we did do this because we see people in the challenge, for example, from the first, second scan, they didn't make much change, but then from their second to the third, they make major change. So something was rectified, right? Or maybe a couple things. All right, positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude. Tomorrow we have a meeting. Please show up. Please show up. You will learn a lot, and it will give you better perspective and understanding for when we finish this challenge and for how you're going to manage things after the challenge ends. Okay? See you guys.